Hello, and welcome to my channel. This is Elise here of Plan with Elise, and today we are talking about budgeting. I have a feeling that this will be a long video because I want to talk about my January budget, and we are going to set up a February budget and all that jazz. So I have a Calendar Plan budget planner here that also has some other inserts that I've added. So we're going to take a look at some of the things that I'm including. So I'm going to need to come back here because I want to talk about my savings goals, but some of these pages haven't been updated, but some have, and we have some tracking to do here. So I have these monthly spending pages that are from my Etsy shop, and I'm actually going to pull them out. This is one of the reasons I like having a disc-bound system because I want to move things around a little bit or update without having to flip the pages. So we have my retirement tracker, and then we have some of my savings goals. So this is, I'm going to white this out and revise it because what I had put in here was saving for wedding hair and makeup. And I'm actually using this page for my Patreon savings challenge that we're doing every week on Patreon. So I was able to save $157.83. But the reason I'm probably going to white this out is because our wedding is going to be in August. It's not going to go through the whole year. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to write saving for, but I'm using this to track. The next page is my spending tracker. So this is from my Etsy shop, and this is where I categorize all of my spending for the month. And I want to talk about it because I've gotten some questions. So I have 4 categories right now of spending. No spend, when I didn't spend any money. An impulse spend, something that I saw online that made me want to buy it right away, or something that I just thought of and decided to buy, versus an unplanned purchase. I'm going to skip planned for a second. An unplanned purchase is maybe today's an unplanned purchase, for example. Today's February 1st, and today I needed to pay for parking. My stepdad is in the hospital with pneumonia. I hope that when you see this video, he will be out of the hospital. He's doing okay, but it cost $8 to park at the hospital, which is ridiculous. That was an unplanned purchase. It wasn't an impulse spend because I wasn't impulsive to spend that money, but it was something unplanned. Versus a planned purchase is a day that I knew I'd be spending money, and that was a planned purchase for me. So an example of a planned purchase would be a few weeks ago, we went out with friends for a birthday. That's a planned purchase. What else is a planned purchase? Tomorrow I'll have a planned purchase because it'll be Planner Kate's April launches. I always buy the new kits. That is a planned purchase. So hopefully that makes sense. And I'm actually pretty proud of this because if we look at no spend, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 no spend days in January. My goal was 3 no spend days per week. And oh my goodness, 18 days, which means I only spent money 13 of those days. Impulse spend, I'm only seeing 1. And unplanned purchases were 1, 2, 3, 4. So I did pretty well with that goal. So now let's shift over, and I want to talk about my extra 5 challenge. I decided this year that every time I spend money, I am going to put $5 into savings. So I have here all of my purchases for the month, and then the transfer over into my Ally savings so that it is accumulating money and it's earning interest. I've saved $125. Then we have my monthly bill tracker, paid all my bills this month. And then this is a how much did I save page. This is actually from Desiree, Happy to Plan with Desiree. I think that this is exclusive for her Patreon members. She was kind enough to send me this. And I have my savings so far for the year. So my extra 5 challenge, I saved $125. My Patreon challenge, I saved $157.83, 10% of my income. This may not be entirely accurate because I wasn't able to see, unless I missed it, how to see what I saved in December. So I have a bucket in my Ally account, which means that you have one savings account, but it's categorized into different buckets. And I had started a recurring transaction, I think in December of 10% of my income. So what happens is every week when I get paid, 10% of that goes immediately into this account. And then every time I get paid for something from Plan with Elise, I also put 10% in. So I'm not entirely sure that's accurate, but it's a starting point because that's what's in my account today on February 1st. And then I have a really interesting one. $852.40 of canceled subscriptions. So let me write the total here first. We have 2,884.57. So how many of us get an email from Apple or, Android, wherever, and it's like, thank you for your payment. And it's like, oh, I didn't realize I was paying for something. And it gets really frustrating because we're all probably paying for subscriptions that we're not realizing. I spent a night going through all of those types of emails and canceling every single subscription that I didn't need. A couple of examples. I set up Intuit QuickBooks a while ago and I don't use it, and I'm fine without it. So I canceled that subscription. I canceled my premium membership to Duolingo. I'm still doing Duolingo every day, but I don't feel like I need to pay for the annual membership anymore. I also had an annual membership for Lightroom, which is a photo editing app that I never even use anymore. I canceled that. And what I did is I took the money out of my account like a buffer, because even though I haven't paid this money yet in the subscriptions, I totaled the amount that it would cost me for the year if I kept that subscription, and I moved it over because I was like, I barely even knew that that money was being spent. I'm going to move it all over. So I can't imagine that I'm going to have this as a continued monthly savings, but I was proud of myself for taking a bulk of it and canceling as much as I possibly could, and then putting that money right into savings, and I don't even miss it. So that's where we are in the how much did I save. Again, this is from Happy to Plan with Desiree Patreon. So I don't think it's something that you can access. And then we're going to talk about my monthly budget. So I have all of my pages here. Again, this is from the Kelava planner. So I want to total them so I can take a look at my monthly spending. So groceries, I never actually color coded these, which I meant to, but groceries, we have 68.34. And it looks like I probably added the protein bars and powder that I bought, 58.72. Then groceries. Okay, this is the number I want to pay attention to. I'm learning. One thing I will say at the beginning of this video, and I won't say it again, is my budget is not perfect. My budget planner is not perfect. Sharing it on social media is challenging. So I'm doing my best to figure out how to talk through this in a way that makes sense to you and me. 56.94. This was a high month for groceries because we did a Costco trip. So my share, because James and I split it, is $415.63. That's very high for us because now you have to double that in terms of our total spending. It's much higher than we normally spend. Then we have restaurants. So we're going to come back and total what I spent at restaurants in the month. We have 57 plus 76.16 plus, that was it. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was it. Okay. Equals 133.16. That's actually not bad. We didn't go out much. January. 133.16. Next up is planner supplies. I think I did pretty well on planner supplies this month. I know I bought from Planner Kate a few times. I know I bought from Happy Planner, but we have 27.05 plus 23.49 plus planner 40.60. 40.60. And that brings us to 91.14. Not great, actually. You know what happened is I bought from Happy Planner a monthly layout because I need a lot of those monthly layout pages and they were having a sale for free shipping. If it wasn't for that, I would have spent about $50. So I think that's better. Okay. Next up is, oh, PSE&G. That is our electric bill. I decided not to put that in here because the bill I got in January was for December. So when I get a bill in February, I'll put that down for January. So now I know a bit of what that monthly spending looked like. And now what I want to do is do my actual. So let's look here. And I feel like I may want to use another color pen. No, I don't think I do. So the mortgage, that was the actual. HOA is actual. It doesn't change. Honda, my bills don't change. My electric bill changed. What I should have done here was 200 because our bill was about 400. And of course, this doesn't change. Then groceries. So groceries, we spent, I budgeted 225. I spent 415. I'm just going to round it. So I went above my budget. Restaurants, I budgeted 100. I spent 133. So I went over. Medical, I made a mistake in medical because I forgot. I budgeted for like one doctor's appointment. I forgot that I need to pay a copay at my weekly therapy appointments. So my actual was 200. Manicures, I only got one manicure in the month. I should have gotten one this weekend because I feel like my nails are horrific, but I didn't. Where are these pages? So I think I only got one. Let's see. Oh my goodness. I know because I'm doing this with a pen in my hand. 65. That was it. So I was under. Gas. Did I get gas this month? I think I got gas once. I did. 40.77. So I was over. Home, I know I went over because of cleaning supplies. Home is orange, 35.86. Personal was, I actually have this here from my mid-month budget review, 91.83 plus 37.65. So personal, I spent 129.48 out of my 100. I did add a buffer here. I forgot to round those in my mid-month budget review, but I did not. I'm confused on tracking that. So we're just going to go from the original numbers because too much math does confuse me. The only category that I don't think, there's two categories that I forgot to budget for. One was, I'm just going to do it here. So we'll draw a line here. One was gifting. I'm usually really good about that. And I totally forgot. So gifting, we have 78.20 plus, there was one more, 37.31. 78.20 plus 37.31, and that was 115.51. I'm just gonna try to remember it around because it's easier. The other category that I forgot, I know as I was looking at this, there was another category in there. Oh, fun. I forgot to budget for fun, 51.25. This will help me when I'm making my February budget. So it's really important for me to remember the gifts because that was one that definitely threw me off, spending $115 that I didn't plan to spend. And it was due to, I bought two gifts. One was actually a gift for February. I could have waited and bought that gift in February, but I like getting things ahead of time so that I don't forget. But it was a birthday gift for a friend. And then the other one was flowers for a friend for something. So a gift budget is definitely something that I need to be mindful of. So now I have a really good idea of where my money went during the month of January, which is going to help me better prepare for February. So I have here my own monthly budget printable. This is from Etsy. I like this. I have no problem with it, but I think that this is going to be better for me with the way that I spend, unless I did something wrong here with the numbers, but we'll see. So let me shift things over and we'll talk through some of this. All right, now I mentioned this all when I did my January setup. It may not make sense for everyone, but it makes sense for me. So I have my full-time income here, and that is going to be 4171. I'm still going to round because I'm not confident in my math skills today. Now, what I do is I pay myself from Plan with Elise based on my needs. I know that that's a luxury, but my regular job isn't enough to cover all of my needs and bills and all of that, wants as well, but all of my expenses, I'll say. And so I'm not sure yet what I'm going to put here for the income because I pay myself based on what I set as a budget. So the first thing we're going to do is do my bills. So I'm going to write mortgage. And what I'm going to write here is my portion, because there are certain bills that James and I split. Then HOA, and that's 450 total. Honda is a bill that I pay entirely. That's my car lease, 421. Geico, my car insurance, 122. Optimum, we split for internet, 45. Verizon, I actually just remembered that I also lowered my Verizon bill. So I don't know what the new bill is yet, but I'm going to see if I can find it. If we can pause this video after I get the rest of these in. Then I have gas and electric. So given that we spent $400, I'm going to budget $200. And then my dental insurance is $21.35. I'm also adding another bill here, and this is going to be Kindle Unlimited. I go back and forth with Kindle Unlimited. Now I forget what the price is. Is it $14.99, $12.99, $13.99? I feel like I can't remember what it is. And I was really going back and forth this morning on what I wanted to do, because what happened was I had paid for, what was it? 3 years. Oh, $11.99. I don't know why I drew a dollar sign there. I had paid for 3 years of Kindle Unlimited, and then I saw that it was expiring, and I was in the middle of reading a book and it expired, and I lost that book and I couldn't find it on Libby, and which is a library app. And I was like, you know what? I read 3 books in the last 8 days. I'm going to give myself 1 month of Kindle Unlimited for $12 and see if I feel like it's something I want to renew or not. So I'm adding that into a bill for myself. I don't have any debt, so I'm not worried about that. My only debt is my mortgage. My car is a lease, so it's not a loan. And then we're going to do savings. So auto savings, which is 10% of my income. And then retirement. Retirement is going to be 500. Auto savings will depend on what I earn. So I will automatically have $417 in there, but it's also going to be my Plan with Elise income. So let's do 10% of PWI because that's not automated, and we'll put that in here. Now we are ready to talk about variable expenses. So variable expenses, I'm going to have a little bit of a different idea for, given what happened in January. I'm going to put copays for medical under bills because I'm not entirely sure I have enough room here for variable, and I know that I'm going to need that money for bills. So we're going to write it all over here. But before I actually go to my variable expenses, we should start totaling things up. So oh, I forgot about my Verizon bill. We got to check that. All right, $93.55. I got my Verizon bill from 146 to 93.55. I don't even know how. I just continued canceling and lowering plans until I got it down because it was too high and I wasn't paying attention to it. And finally, I spent the time paying attention to it. So, okay, 1788.98 plus 225 plus 421 plus 122 plus 45 plus 93.55 plus 200 plus 21.35 plus 11.99 plus 200 brings us to 3,128.87. 3,128. Adding this, my temporary total, so I'll write it over here, is 917. So now when I add these two together, we are left with 4,045.87. 4,147 minus 45 is $102. So after this, and again, my savings goals are big, but after that, all I'm left with for the month is $102, which is why I have to pay myself an income from Plan with Elise, and that income will depend on my variable expenses. So one of the areas that I went over a bit was personal. I'm going to write personal here again. And this month, I'm also going to try to stick to a budget of $100. Just because I went over in January doesn't mean I should up my budget. It's a combination of, was my budget realistic? Can I stick within the budget during the new month? Part of the reason I went over in the personal category was because I used my personal budget to buy some exercise clothes because I've been exercising and I didn't have enough clothes for exercising. So I don't know that that's an ongoing, like it shouldn't be an ongoing expense. The next one I'm going to do is manicures. And this is going to be the same budget. I know I'll need 2 manicures in the month, so we're going to do 120. Next up, let's talk about gas. Last month I budgeted 30. I spent 40. This month I'm actually going to budget 75, which means me filling my tank once and then James and I sharing the tank once. We're driving up to Lake George in February, so I know I'm going to need more gas than normal. So I'm going to budget 75 for that. Then I'm going to write out a few other categories here. Restaurants, groceries, gifting. I don't want to forget. Let's do fun. I'm trying to figure out something for February. Let's do Valentine's Day. And I'm going to that's just what we're going to call it. Okay. Now, restaurants. Last month, I spent $133 at restaurants. I budgeted 100 this month. I'm also going to budget, let's do 125. I think that feels good. Groceries, I budgeted 225 and spent 415. I'm going to go lower this month than what I spent, and I'm going to go back to my budget because again, we don't have a Costco trip needed. So hopefully we'll spend less. Gifting. When I think about February, I did already buy the gift for my one friend whose birthday is in February. I do have another birthday in February. It is a 100th birthday. They've asked that instead of gifts, donations be made to the Holocaust. Some type, I don't know remember if it was the Holocaust Museum or something. The woman who is turning 100 is a survivor of the Holocaust. Incredible woman. And so I want to have something there. And then there also may be an early March gift that I need. So I'm going to do $100 for gifting. And then James and I will talk about the donation that we want to make. The next thing I'm going to do is fun. So there's a couple of things for fun coming up in February. Friday night, we are going to a bar where the band who we have booked for our wedding is going to be playing. So I want to give myself a little bit of money for drinks. I'm going to say $40. I think it's high, but it's been years since I've been to this bar. I don't know what the drinks cost. So there's that. The next thing is I am hosting a Galentine's brunch for my bridesmaids on Super Bowl Sunday. And I'm going to give myself a chunk of money for that, for two different categories. One is decor and one is catering. I decided to get it catered to make my life a little bit easier because I can't even explain to you how many things I'm juggling right now, and it's stressing me out a bit. And sometimes catering is a little bit easier. So we're going to do $350 between catering and decor and see how that goes. Then, as I think about the rest of February, I would assume maybe another $100 as a little bit of a buffer. I know a couple of other events I'm going to, so I'm going to write $490, which sounds very high, but again, it's mostly because of a party that I'm throwing. And then Valentine's Day, James and I are going to Lake George. We have a weekend in the hotel. He is giving that to me as a gift. And then we are going to a nice dinner, and I would like to treat us to massages. So I'm going to go a little bit higher for this as well, just for that whole weekend getaway, and do 300. So this is a lot higher than I would normally want to do in my variable expenses, but I think that I've planned them out well and given a good buffer for myself in certain areas while also trying to focus on my savings goals. That gives me 1535. I know that the spend here, I need to redo this again. 1535. And we had 102 left over, right, from the other one. So I'm going to subtract 102. And now what I'll need to pay myself from Plan with Elise is 1433, which is a doable number and is a number that I feel comfortable with. When it comes to Plan with Elise income, I get income from YouTube, of course, Patreon, affiliate links, other projects that I do for brands, different things like that, my Etsy shop. So what I earn, I keep in the bank and then have to pay quarterly estimated taxes, all of that. But I try to pay myself as little as possible. I try to live as close to this number as I can. Obviously, $102 was never going to be enough to cover everything else that's coming up. So now I feel really good about having my monthly budget set. I think that this makes a lot of sense for me for February. Now we're going to do a paycheck budget. So I'm going to map out where my money is going to go every paycheck. I really wanted to do this video as late in the month, January, as possible because I wanted it to be genuine to my actual spending. As long as I don't spend any other money today, it's $12.52. I don't plan on spending money. I should be good. But it also makes it tough because tomorrow is my first payday of the month, and I want to make sure that my budget is ready. So I feel a little bit of pressure on myself, not pressure you put on me, to make sure that I get this all mapped out really nicely. So my income, where'd my calculator go, is going to be 4171 divided by 4. So 1042.50. And then 1433 divided by 4, let's just round it and say 358. So my total income will be 1400 for the week. And that will be the same every week. Now, let me get myself organized here. What we're going to do is split my bills across how many paydays I have before they're due. So I also need to rework this paycheck budget because the spent part isn't going to be accurate for my bills. That would be more of paid. I'll rework it for myself. So first bill is mortgage. I have 4 paydays until it's due. So 1788.98 divided by 4 brings me to 447.25. Say 447. And that is something that I'm going to want to write on all of these because I need it every week. Let me try to just make this a little bit easier on myself while we're doing the bills. Let's try to get all of these visible on the screen. Okay. Mortgage. I need to see the other page too. Mortgage. I'm really focused on my finances this year more so than I've been in a few years. And part of that to me is making videos to hold myself accountable and share with you my process, even if I'm doing it imperfectly. HOA is also 4 bills or 4 weeks until it's due. And we'll write these. I'm going to get up in a moment and get water. Of course, it's not on my desk like it should be. Next up will be Honda. So Honda is 421. I also have 4 weeks until that's due. That'll be 105.25. Honda. uh, 105.25 and here. Okay. Next up is Geico. I have 2 paydays until Geico is due. Geico is due on the 15th. So I have the first 2 paydays of the month. That will be $61 a week. So now I know that with each of the paydays where the money is going to go. Now Geico is taken care of. Optimum is on the 3rd, but because it's a low number, $45, we're only going to include it in one. I don't split up the small numbers. So Optimum is 45. Verizon is also, I'd say, a smaller number, but I actually don't put Verizon in my budget because it is billed through my business. So I'm not going to put that in here. My electric bill, I will have 3 paydays until that is due. But to make math easy, let's just do 2. So we'll split it for 100 each. My life is very much about making math easy. I'm good at budgeting, but I'm not good at math. Then we have Guardian. I have all month for that, and it's a small bill. It's just my dental insurance. My health insurance is through my job, so we're good there. And then my Kindle is due on the 1st, so let's put that here. If I renew it, I don't know if I will, but we'll see. I don't, again, did a dollar sign unnecessarily. Finally, we're going to do copay, and that will be $50 a week each week. Okay, now let's talk about variable expenses. So I'm going to, well, we can still keep these separate. So variable expenses, the first one is going to be Galentine's Day, which I'm doing fun. So I'm going to write, actually a lot of my fun budget is going to be this week. I said 350 for Galentine's and 40 for the bar. So that brings me to 390. I also know I'm going to need a manicure this week because I'm overdue for a manicure. And we're going to do 60 there. I don't know why I keep doing this with the dollar signs. Now it's really important for me to take a pause and see where I'm at out of 1400. So 1400 minus 390 minus 60 minus 447. Oops. I hate when I do this. Another reason I need a manicure. My nails are too long. 1400 minus 390 minus 60 minus 447 minus 56.25 minus 105.25 minus 61 minus 45 minus 100 minus 50. 85.50 is all that's left, and I have myself in a little bit of trouble because 10% of my income should be, oh, actually $41. So that's okay. I think that is that right? $41? 417 for the month. So it should be like $104. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna write auto savings. That's gonna be 85.50. But I owe myself some money next week. So 417 divided by 4 is 104.25 is what I should be saving each week. So minus 85.50 is 18.75. So next week's pay I owe myself. So I'm just going to write O auto savings 18.75. And now we are finished with this budget. These numbers all add up to $1,400. So my February 2nd, the week of February 2nd through 8th is finished. Next, we're going to do the same thing here. So my two jobs, 1042, and my business, 358, and the total there is 1,400. I do have one less bill here, Optimum. So let's do auto savings here. I always say save before you spend. So before we look at variable expenses, let's make sure we're deducting savings. So these numbers, 1,400 minus auto savings should be, I forgot what 417 divided by 4 was, sorry. 104.25. Let me just write that on all of them so I don't forget. Okay, back to this. 1,400 minus 104.25 minus 18.75 from last week minus 447 minus 56.25 minus 105.25 minus 61 minus 100 minus 50. I'm left with 457.50. So we're going to do this is the week we're going away. So Valentine's Day is going to go in here because I need it that week. And that's going to be 300. So now I'm left with 157.50. I'm going to put gas in there. Let's do the whole gas budget. And now I'm left with 82.50. So let's do, I can't imagine I'm going to need groceries this week because we're going away, but I'd rather do it and not need it than need it and not have it. So groceries is going to be 82.50. And now we've fully used up this paycheck. So we're in good shape. What I want to do before I forget the number though is 225 minus 82.50 is we're just going to put groceries here. Even if I don't buy groceries this week and I just have the rest of the money, let's set aside, that's fine by me. 1 42.50. Okay. So we have 1042, and then PWI will be 358. So this is 1400. Savings is going to be auto savings. I know we haven't touched my retirement savings yet. We'll get to that shortly. So now we have 1400 minus 447 minus 56.25 minus 105.25 minus 50 minus 104.25 minus 142.50 brings us to 494.75. So personal, did I use personal yet? I did not do personal. So let's do personal here. We'll budget 100. We also need to do gifting here. 100. 294.75 is what's left. So let's do, maybe I want a manicure this week. So let's do the rest of the manicure budget, which will be 60. We are left with 234.75. Let's do restaurants. We are left with 109.75. So what else? I did the rest of the groceries. Gifting is done. Restaurants is done. Personal and manicure are done. Fun, I have not done the remaining fun budget. So I said what fun was, I have $70 left in the fun budget at this point. 70. And the remaining 39.75 will be retirement. Which means that retirement, if I take 500 minus 39.75, our total is 460.25. And then I don't think there's anything left in my variable expenses for this check. We'll take a look, but I don't think we need to account for it. I made another mistake again, didn't I? Yeah, I wrote the wrong number here. This is the wrong number. And this is the wrong number. Okay, I can use correction tape, I know, but I'm not because I'm on a roll. I did the monthly total there. Bound to make a mistake in these videos. So before I do this, let me look at variable expenses from here. Personal, 100 is done. Manicures, I know I did twice. That's done. Gas was last week, so that's done. Restaurants are fully in there. Groceries are fully in there. Gifting is fully in here. Fun is fully in here on Valentine's Day. Okay, we've accounted for all of the variable expenses, which is great. So now we have 1,400 minus 447 minus 56.25 minus 105.25 minus 21.35 minus 11.99 minus 50 minus 104.25 minus 460.25. We are left with 143.66. So somewhere I made a mistake, I think. I'm not entirely sure where it was, but I do know that I won't be able to figure that out on camera. That's something I'm going to have to look at all this and put it in a spreadsheet for myself for comparison, because I know I accounted for all of my savings goals. This is the month. This is auto savings, and this is auto savings. So I'm not sure where I made the mistake, but I know I made one somewhere, and that's okay. I just am not going to be capable of figuring that out while on camera. Now we're going to decorate and talk about some financial goals and just kind of talk overall about budgeting, because the numbers, the hardest part of the video for me is over. I have not figured out the mistake, but that is something that I will do after we are all uploaded and ready to go. So I don't need these pages to be decorated, but like in reality, do we need any of our planner pages to be decorated? Probably not, but we're just going to have fun with it because we have the stickers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, I only need 4 weeks. I'm going to cut this and just make it a little bit smaller because I like the idea of having some pretty stickers here. I probably need to go even smaller. So let's put these over here. And then let's do it again. This is using Seasonal Love January to June from Live Love Posh, which I'm pretty sure right now is sold out. But the July to December should still be available. So we're going to cut these twice just to make this spread across the whole part, and maybe a little bit to the top because I really don't need them twice. Just something cute up here. Again, doesn't need to be super decorative, but why not? And then we can just come back in with some of these other flowers up here. I'm not like overly doing it here or making it look like a regular planner spread because the goal is getting this fun enough to use, but it doesn't need to be perfect. I feel like we just need one more little piece. Okay, that's really fine for me. Now, I have Date the Dates by Mojo Jojo Plans, and I'm going to get these dates in, but let's use the little itty bitty ones because I don't really need these to be huge. But as I put these down, sometimes I do this part off camera because it can be a little time consuming, but I want to talk a bit about budgeting and finance and some of the changes that I've made for myself in January. So I'm really focused on savings goals, and part of that savings goal focus is also really working on my impulse spending. I think that spending is a psychological, not spending like buying groceries, but a lot of times the impulse spending comes from a psychological thing, right? If you're scrolling on social media and you see someone share something and you immediately feel like you need that, they've done their job by influencing you. And I have done it as well. I'm a content creator, and you using my affiliate links is a huge part of my income. So I'm not saying anything negative about influencing people to buy things because, most of what I share are also small businesses who are earning money to, support their families. But this is the wrong number, isn't it? I knew immediately, not immediately. I knew 7 in that these were wrong. Wouldn't be an Elise video without messing up these. Oh, this is going to be so annoying to do. All right, you know what we're going to do, because I was just going to white them out, but I feel like that's so lazy. So I'm just going to use undo. Okay. This is what happens when I'm trying to multitask. Just going to pop a little bit here. All right. So with impulse spending, when I have a desire to spend, there's a long conversation that I try to have with myself now that I wasn't having in the past that was causing me to impulse spend. And a really good example of this was a couple of weeks ago. It was a Sunday. I think it was it was a Saturday. It was one of the football playoff days. And we decided to have friends over to watch football. And it was the day we went to Costco. It may have been like the second or third Saturday in January. And before we went to Costco, after I got my workout in, I was in the shower and I was thinking that we were probably going to get like chips and dip and things like that from Costco, and I realized I don't have a dedicated like chip and dip bowl, right? Set where like maybe the chips go around and the dip goes in the middle and all of that. And I started thinking, okay, well, after Costco, we need to go to Home Goods or Target or something so that I can get a chip and dip bowl because we're having people over and we're serving chips and dip. And I spiraled. Like I was in the shower spiraling about this. And then I thought one of the questions that I like to ask when I'm wanting to impulse spend is, do I already have something that could serve the same purpose? And no, I do not have a chip and dip bowl. But do I have bowls that I could put dip or salsa in? Absolutely. Do I have bowls that I could put chips in? Absolutely. And I talked myself out of it because I knew that there was no need for it. In the 2.5 years since I bought this house, I have hosted several times. I mean, under 10, but enough times that I have never thought before, we will not survive without a chip and dip bowl. And I was able to talk myself out of it. Sometimes the same thing happens with planner supplies. I feel in a moment that like I have a need to buy something, and then I think, do I have something like it? The other question to ask yourself is, where will you store it? And that's a big thing for me too, because with kitchen stuff, we have a pretty big kitchen, but with both of us moving in together, we don't really have a ton of extra space in our kitchen. So if I bought a chip and dip bowl, where would I put it? If I bought this planner supply, where would I put it? And is this something that I can see myself using on a regular basis? Or is this just, I saw this, I want it, and I'm going to buy it right now? And really focusing on that helped me spend less money. I think I made another mistake here. Oh, no, 28. We're done with 28 dates. Really helped me spend less money. The other way that I spent less money than normal, and I know that you saw in my January budget that I overspent, which I did, but I did spend less than I have been in the last several months. The other way that I spent less was by requiring myself or setting a goal of having 3 no spend days per week. And what that did was it slowed me down. Let's say in one day I hadn't spent any money. These are from Proud Sticker Designs, by the way. I'm just trying to choose a color that I think will look cute here. I feel like I need to place a new order as I'm talking about that, not spending money. You can save using code Elise20, and we're going to do red. I will link these below. But backing up, where was I on this? Sorry, I completely lost my train of thought, which I know happens when I am talking about and doing too many things at once. Okay, 3 no spend days per week. If a day has gone by and I haven't spent any money and it's maybe the afternoon or the evening and I'm scrolling on social media and I see something that I want, or I'm bored, I'm scrolling on Amazon, which also happens. I think to myself, wait, I haven't spent any money yet today. Is this worth me breaking a no spend day for? Because a lot of the times it's not. A lot of the times it's something that I could buy another day if I still even want it another day. So that also stops me. What I also am doing with my no spends is I'm trying to map out what days in the week I already know I'm going to be spending money. So like I said, for this upcoming week, I know that I'm going to be spending money on Friday night because we're going out to this bar on Friday night. So Friday is going to be a spend day. So I need to make sure that I'm including other days as a planned no spend day because Friday will be a spend one. Another example of this was this past Friday. There were a bunch of new Planner Kate releases and I added a lot of them to my cart. And then, I'm still going to buy them, but I'm delaying spending because I thought, well, wait a second. Monday is Planner Kate April release day, which means that I will be spending money on Monday. So now I know that I have 2 spend days in the week already, Monday and Friday. So then I thought, do I need to buy the Planner Kate kits on Monday? Because maybe I buy them on Friday when I'm already going to be spending money on Friday. Does that make sense? So it's just thinking like, do I need this thing in this exact moment? Or is it possible that I can wait a few days? Because I don't need my April kits immediately in February. Sometimes I forget about them and then I'm ready to film a video and I forget, which is why I do prefer to order them right when they release. But unless I'm already like I'm trying to plan out my no spend days. That's what I'm saying. These stickers are also from Proud Sticker Designs. They fit perfectly in here and I really like them because I can easily see my bills. So we're going to do 20th, then house here, internet is the 16th, and I'm keeping these in a pocket folder in the front of my planner. We have the 15th for Geico. We have 18th for electric. We have the 1st for HOA. Then phone is the 17th. Dental is the 28th. And I forgot about one, a credit card. So my dental is due on the 30th. We'll do it for the 28th. The other one that I actually forgot about here too is going to be my Kindle Unlimited subscription that I just mentioned I signed up for, but I'm not sure yet if we're going to keep it. It depends on how many books I read in February. And I have to make a decision for myself of how many books I need to read for it to be worth it for the $11.99 a month. I think that 2 to 3 makes it worth it. Anything less no longer makes it worth it for me. Right now, there's a couple of books on Kindle Unlimited that I really want to read. So I think if I do like on and off months, that may be helpful. What I want to do here is set some goals for the month. So let's just use one of these. I'll put these numbers in, by the way, at some point. I just know that this is already probably almost an hour-long video, if not already. And I want to not make it that way longer. And it's just like repetition. So we're going to do goals. And then let's use just 3 bullet points here to set some financial goals. And some of these are maintenance goals because they are the same goals that I had in January, but they worked for me and I want to stick to them. 2 and 3. Okay. Actually, I'm going to do 4. Let's do 4. But I only know of 3 of them right now. I want to give myself an opportunity to set an additional one. However, what I need to do here is actually pull out my planner because I did set my monthly goals already. I just don't know if I included budget ones. Weekly income transfer, 3 no spend days per week. So we're going to do save 10% of income, 3 no spend days per week. What was there was some reason I wanted to look at these. Sell my Peloton. I did not achieve that goal because I changed my mind. I want to give myself an opportunity to still use my Peloton before I decide if I'm going to sell it. So another financial goal can be how many days did I have impulse spending? Let's do a goal of no more than 2 impulse. I don't have room for spending, but no more than 2 impulse. We could just do purchases. And then we'll give myself room for something else. And I think we're set. I know that this video is a little bit all over the place. It tends to happen with my budgeting videos. Maybe over time they will get better, but I think that we're set. I put these pages in here, and now what I will do is for weekly budget, these are the pages in the budget planner. I'll have it linked below. We've got February, the week of February 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And I will put any bills that are due right here. I think it's just a credit card because I already paid my mortgage and HOA, also Honda. So we're going to write Amazon credit card and Honda. And then just to make future me a little happier, we're just going to write the dates right here. So like I said, Friday is already a spend day. I'm guessing Saturday may be a spend day because I'm prepping for the party Sunday, but it would be great if I don't spend any money Sunday. So maybe these are spend days and I can try to get Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday without them, but I probably need a manicure. I don't think I can do it tomorrow. I may be able to do it Tuesday. So really just thinking about how I can schedule in spend days into my week. So I hope that you found this video helpful. I would like to do a mid-month budget review again, like I did in January. I really found a lot of value in that video for me. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. I'll link whatever I used in the description, and I'll see you next time.